The galaxy was awake that night. Every major system, every broadcast relay, every alien world carried the same message. It began as a quiet pulse, a coded pattern spreading through the void. Then words appeared on millions of holoscreens, in thousands of languages. The Dominion trials will begin in one cycle. The strongest species shall rule. For most of the galaxy, this was routine. The Dominion trials were a game of power, created by the Alien Council to prove who deserved to lead. Warfleets gathered, champions prepared, and empires sharpened their claws. But one name was missing from the long list of competitors: humanity. No one had spoken that name in 120 years. The humans had vanished after the solar wars, leaving behind only ruins and drifting wrecks near a dead sun. Their cities were gone, their colonies erased. The Council often joked that humans were brave but foolish, a short-lived species that burned too bright and died too soon. So when the message went out, the Council hall filled with laughter. The Vrakoth lords bragged that their plasma fleets would dominate. The insectoid Koresh promised to bring back the skulls of challengers. Even the cold, logical Zethran drones clicked in agreement that this year's trials would be easy. Then, at the far edge of the Milky Way, an old relay came to life. It was an ancient Terran beacon buried under layers of dust on a forgotten moon. For decades it had been silent. Now its light flickered once, twice, then burned bright white. The signal it sent was short, just one line: "Humanity accepts." For a long moment no one believed it. The message spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Every sensor station, every news ship, every listening post confirmed the signal's origin. Sol system, the home of the extinct race. The laughter inside the Galactic Council hall stopped. The Vrakoth admiral hissed that it must be a prank. The Zethran drones rechecked the code and found something impossible. The encryption pattern matched the human Terranet signature. A technology lost for over a century. The Council leader, a towering reptilian known as Supreme Archon Raltun, leaned forward in disbelief. "That system was glassed," he said. "Nothing lives there." But the beacon kept transmitting, its pulse steady and confident. Across alien space, reactions split. Some laughed again, saying that ghosts were playing tricks. Others whispered that humanity had returned. In the Rim colonies, traders who once worked with humans told stories of their stubborn courage. "If they said they accept," one old captain muttered, "then someone better start praying." On the desert world of Varine, soldiers watched the broadcast. They remembered the tales of the solar wars, how human fleets had turned dying stars into weapons, how one Terran captain destroyed 10 times his number without retreating, but no one had seen a human face in generations. So who sent the signal? Within hours, ships from every empire raced toward the Sol system. Scouts, drones, and intelligence probes filled the void. All of them tried to enter Earth's orbit. None returned. Their last transmissions showed brief flashes, dark shapes moving between the stars, huge and silent. Admiral Threx of the Vrakoth Empire ordered a full reconnaissance assault. "If humans still live," he said, "we will erase them again." 200 ships entered the system. None came out. All that returned was a single data burst containing the same calm message: "Leave this system. The trials begin soon." Panic spread among the fleets. The Council met again in emergency session. Some said to ignore the humans. Others demanded the destruction of the Sol sector before it became a threat. Archon Raltun stared at the glowing display showing Earth's location. "One signal, one warning, and 200 ships gone," he said softly. "If they truly are back, they have grown far beyond us." Meanwhile, far from the Council chambers, deep inside the darkness of the Sol system, something ancient stirred. Under the frozen crust of lunar base, hidden machines came to life. Dust fell from their armored frames. Engines whispered awake. In orbit around the silent Earth, giant silhouettes emerged, starships covered in black armor, glowing with faint blue lines. Their hulls bore the old emblem of humanity, a broken chain inside a circle. For centuries they had slept. Now systems powered up one by one. Inside the command chamber of the largest vessel, a soft human voice spoke through the dark. Status confirmed. Beacon signal received. Authorization, Human Command Protocol 9. Lights brightened. Screens flickered. Data ran across old interfaces. The ship's AI reported Dominion trials detected. Hostile entities approaching. Orders? The voice paused, then replied, Prepare the fleet. Send the message again. Across the galaxy, every communication system flared with the same words that had started it all. Humanity accepts. But this time, the signal carried an image. It showed a single human figure standing in front of a vast window, looking out at the stars. The person's face was shadowed, the uniform dark and old. But the eyes were sharp and alive. The voice spoke calmly, echoing through every broadcast channel in the known galaxy. You have challenged the species that once defeated extinction. We do not seek war, but we do not flee it. Prepare your champions. Humanity stands once more. Then the transmission ended. The galaxy held its breath. Somewhere, a long-forgotten fleet turned toward the stars. Engines igniting for the first time in a century, and across every world, from the high towers of alien empires to the slums of border colonies. One question filled the air. Who dares to challenge humanity? Silence filled the galaxy after the human message. For weeks, the Alien Council tried to explain it away. They said it was a trick, a ghost transmission from dead machines. But no one could ignore what had happened to the 200 ships that vanished in the Sol system. To calm the panic, the Council sent new probes. These were unmanned, small and fast. Each carried hundreds of sensors programmed to observe and retreat if danger appeared. They entered the dark system where Earth once burned. Their signals reached the edge of the asteroid belt, then broke apart one by one. For a short moment, one probe recorded something. Massive shadows moving slowly, almost like mountains drifting through space. The data lasted only seconds, but it was enough to show a horrifying truth. Something was alive in that system, something ancient. The scientists of the Zethran Collective studied the footage carefully. They enhanced the shapes, stabilized the fragments, and finally saw the image clearly. Huge ships, silent and still, covered in scars from ancient battles. Each one carried the symbol of the broken chain, the mark of humanity. The news spread fast. Some called them relics. Others called them ghosts. The name that stuck was the Ghost Fleet. Far from the Council's reach, a human-built AI core awoke beneath the lunar surface. Its code identified itself as Guardian 1. It had been dormant for 120 years. Its final order simple: sleep until humanity calls again. Now it heard the signal. Inside its control chamber, machines stirred to life. Robotic arms repaired cables. Reactors glowed with new power. One by one, the sleeping ships began to breathe again. Guardian 1 connected to the oldest vessel, the HSS Resolute. Its systems responded immediately. Power levels rose. Shields flickered online. Deep inside its core, an old voice pattern activated. Fleet status. The voice asked. Minimal but functional, Guardian 1 replied. Awaiting command authority. The voice paused. Then we stand ready. Beyond Earth, the stars shimmered with light as more ships woke. Each one answered the same signal. Some were battle cruisers. Others were carriers and dreadnoughts. All had been built during the final years of the Solar Wars, equipped with weapons no alien empire had ever seen. The Ghost Fleet began to move. In the outer systems, alien scouts detected the energy spikes. The Vrikoth Empire sent a destroyer wing to investigate. They entered cautiously, weapons armed, scanners wide open. Their commander, Captain Jirthar, laughed when he saw the massive wrecks ahead. Old ships, he said. Dead ships. Fire one round to confirm. The alien destroyer fired a plasma bolt at one of the human ships. The shot hit its armor and vanished, absorbed like water into sand. Then the human vessel came alive. Its engines flared white-blue. Its weapons did not fire, but the space around it began to bend. Gravity itself seemed to twist. The alien ships started losing control, their navigation spinning wildly. Within seconds, the entire destroyer wing broke apart. No explosions, no flames, only silence. Their last recorded image showed the Resolute floating calmly, surrounded by faint blue rings of light, across the galaxy. That image reached every screen. The voice from the human ship spoke once again. "This is the HSS Resolute. To all who listen, stand down. Humanity's legacy is active. We will not warn again." The message was short, but sent waves of fear through the empires. The council met again. The Archon demanded to know if humans were truly alive or if their machines had gone rogue, the scientists argued. Some said AIs had taken control after the extinction. Others believed human survivors might be hidden somewhere deep in cryo-sleep. But no one could agree on the truth. The Koresh Hive proposed an alliance to destroy the Ghost Fleet before it grew stronger. But the Zethrans refused, saying they needed to understand it first. While the empires fought with words, the Ghost Fleet expanded its range. It moved to nearby systems, once held by human colonies, activating more hidden stations and outposts. The power signatures grew. Then, one night, a faint signal reached the edge of the Orion sector. A freighter picked it up. The recording was human, spoken in calm English. "Do not fear. We are not your enemy. We are the guardians of what once was, and what will be again." The voice was not synthetic. It sounded human. The freighter's crew replayed it again and again. No one could explain how a living human could still exist. In the following days, strange events began. Satellites around alien worlds started showing errors. Military networks glitched. Energy cores shut down without reason. Every time it happened, one phrase appeared on their screens. "Humanity remembers." The Alien Council ordered full lockdowns on their data systems. They accused each other of sabotage, but everyone knew the truth. The Ghost Fleet was awake. Deep within the command deck of the HSS Resolute, Guardian 1 scanned the stars. "Enemy fleets preparing," it reported. The calm voice replied, "They will come. Let them see what remains of humanity." The AI asked, "Shall I deploy the other Guardians?" "Yes," the voice said. "Wake them all." In distant sectors, more lights came alive. Giant black ships turned slowly toward the center of the galaxy. Every empire that once mocked humanity began to tremble. The Ghost Fleet had returned. The plasma bolt struck the nearest human ship and vanished without a sound. Captain Jertha blinked at his screen. The readings made no sense. Energy output from the target had increased instead of falling. The wreck in front of him was not wreckage, it was waking up. "Reverse course," he shouted. "Get us out." His words ended when the stars began to twist. The space around the alien fleet warped, as if the universe itself bent under invisible hands. Their instruments screamed. Gravity waves surged through the formation. The destroyers spun helplessly. One ship collided with another. Their reactors overloaded. Then came silence. When the chaos ended, nothing was left. No explosion, no debris, no escape pods. The Vrakoth fleet had vanished into the darkness. Only one recording survived, transmitted automatically by a damaged drone. It showed a brief glimpse of the human warship, HSS Resolute, moving calmly through the black. The footage spread across the galaxy within hours. Panic followed. The Council ordered all fleets to stay away from the Sol sector. Yet the Vrakoth demanded revenge. They declared war on whatever still lived there. On the frozen moon of Xeris, Admiral Threx assembled the largest invasion force in a century. 5,000 ships, armed with planet killers and shield breakers. "If ghosts challenge us," he said, "we will burn their graves." The armada departed. For 3 days, sensors across half the galaxy tracked their advance. But when they reached the Sol system, they found it empty. No heat, no signals, no ships. Only silence. Admiral Threx ordered his fleet deeper in. "Find them," he growled. Then the stars went dark. Every ship's light faded at once. The crews shouted over comms, trying to reboot their systems. Gravity shifted again. A huge shadow passed over them, blocking the faint glow of distant suns. The HSS Resolute appeared above them, silent, massive, and surrounded by glowing blue rings. Its hull reflected no light. Its presence filled every radar screen. A calm voice echoed across their channels. "You have entered restricted space. Leave now," Threx snarled. "Identify yourself. Human Command Unit Resolute," the voice answered. "You are trespassing," the Admiral laughed. "Humans are dead. You are nothing but old machines." The voice remained steady. "Then face extinction again." Without a single visible weapon fired, the Vrakoth fleet began to break apart. Their energy cores shut down one by one. Threx's bridge filled with alarms. His crew screamed as their ship lost all control. The Admiral stared out the window as the massive human vessel turned slowly toward him. Then everything vanished in white light. Across the galaxy, the Council received the final message of the Vrakoth Armada. A single word repeated 3 times. "Humanity still stands." The Council chambers erupted into chaos. Some shouted for immediate defense. Others wanted to send diplomats. The Archon demanded calm, but fear filled the air. The Council finally voted to send a single emissary fleet, unarmed, to make contact. The mission was given to the Zethran Collective, the most logical and least aggressive of the empires. Their ships entered the edge of the Sol system cautiously. They opened channels on every frequency. "This is Envoy Unit 7 of the Zethran Collective," their leader said. "We seek communication." For long minutes there was no response. Then a calm voice answered. "Proceed to the outer ring. Keep your weapons offline." The Zethrans followed the instructions. They passed through empty space until a great shadow filled their senses. The HSS Resolute appeared again, followed by dozens of other human ships. Their formation was perfect, their movement silent. "Identify your purpose," the voice asked. "We seek to understand who commands you," the Zethran envoy said. "Are you human or machine?" There was a pause. "We are both," the voice replied. "The Guardians carry the will of humanity. We are its memory and its defense." The envoy hesitated. "If humans are truly gone, then why fight again?" "Because the galaxy never learned peace," the voice said. "The trials begin soon. You all seek power. Humanity will remind you of balance." Before the envoy could answer, a second transmission interrupted. It came from deep within the system. The voice was different, slower, more human. "This is Command Core Alpha," it said. "Prepare the fleets. Authorization code Seraphine 9. The Guardians answered as one. Command confirmed. The Zethran envoy froze. That codename, Seraphine, matched a record from the old wars. It belonged to Admiral Sarah Voss, the last known human fleet commander, believed dead for over a century. The envoy's last report before retreating read, "The humans have returned. The Ghost Fleet is not alone. A living command exists." That night the Council gathered again. No one spoke for a long time. Finally the Archon said what everyone feared to admit. "If humanity truly lives," he whispered, "then the galaxy belongs to them once more, and in the dark of the Sol system, a soft human voice spoke to the awakening fleet. Let the galaxy remember who we are." The engines of the Ghost Fleet flared brighter than ever before. They turned toward the stars, their destination unknown. Humanity had re-entered the stage of history, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with shouting. Holograms of alien leaders flickered across the room, their faces tight with fear. Reports of destroyed fleets and missing ships echoed through every system. The word human was being spoken again for the first time in a century, and it carried the weight of dread. Archon Raltun slammed his clawed hand on the table. "We cannot allow panic to spread," he roared. "We face only machines. They are echoes of a dead race. We can destroy them." But not everyone agreed. The Zethran envoy, a cold mechanical being of light and metal, replied calmly, "Evidence suggests otherwise." The transmission from the Sol system carried organic vocal patterns. A living human voice. The chamber grew silent. No one wanted to believe it. The humans were supposed to be extinct, wiped out by their own wars. Yet here they were, controlling weapons and technology far beyond anything the galaxy possessed. The Koresh Hive Queen hissed through her speakers. "We fought them once. Our ancestors called them fire-born demons. If they are truly awake, then this council stands on the edge of death. Another leader shouted back, "You speak of legends." But deep down they all remembered the stories. When the humans first appeared in the galaxy, they were weak and scattered. Yet they learned fast. They built faster. They adapted faster. And when pushed, they became unstoppable. Now, after a century of silence, they had returned. The Archon rose again, voice trembling. If we admit fear, they win before the first battle. We must strike now, burn the Sol system, crush every trace before they gather strength. The Zethran envoy's lights dimmed. You already tried that. 200 ships entered. None returned, the Archon glared. Then we sent 2,000. No, a new voice interrupted. It was Lord Vekar of the Orion Dominion, one of the oldest and most respected members. If we attack blindly, we will only feed the myth. The humans are not just soldiers, they are strategists. We must understand what they want. Silence followed his words. Finally, the Archon nodded slowly. Very well, we will gather intelligence. But if they move beyond their system, we answer with total war. The Council agreed, reluctantly. An elite observation task force was created. 30 cloaked ships equipped with stealth technology and the best analysts from every empire. Their mission: watch the Ghost Fleet and report any movement. The task force jumped into Sol space 3 days later. For a time, everything was quiet. They hid in asteroid shadows, scanning the strange human vessels. The ships drifted in perfect formation, engines dark, weapons idle. They looked like ancient statues guarding a grave. Then, on the third day, something changed. Every human ship turned its bow toward deep space. At the same moment, all sensors in the observation fleet went blind. The commanders panicked, thinking they were discovered. Then their screens lit up again, but instead of readings, there was a single human message. The Council watches. The Council fears. Let them... The transmission cut off. Half of the observers jumped away immediately. The others stayed too long. Moments later, their ships vanished from radar. No explosion, no sound. Just gone. When the surviving scouts returned, they found that all their data had been erased. Their systems were clean, as if they had never been near Sol space. The Council received only one report, 6 words burned into the surviving logs. They are watching us too. The Archon could no longer hide his unease. They want us to be afraid, he said. The Zethran envoy replied, no. They want us to remember. Meanwhile, far away in the darkness of Sol, the HSS Resolute moved with purpose. Deep within its command deck, Guardian 1 watched hundreds of data streams flow across its screens. Council activity detected, the AI reported. A soft voice replied, calm and human. Good, let them gather. The galaxy must see before it learns. Guardian 1 turned its sensors toward a distant region, a vast nebula where the Council fleets were preparing for war. They are arming, it said. The voice answered, then wake the others. Across the galaxy, in forgotten human outposts and buried bases, more systems came alive. The ancient fleet was no longer alone. Massive ships lifted from the surfaces of dead moons and cold worlds. Each bore the same mark, a broken chain. The humans were building again. Inside the Council chamber, the Archon stared at the newest sensor reports. His scales paled. They are multiplying, he whispered. How many of these things did the humans make? The Zethran envoy answered softly, enough to fight the universe itself. Every leader in that room understood what those words meant. The humans were not preparing for a single war. They were preparing for all of them. The Archon leaned forward, eyes narrow. Then we must prepare the galaxy for the last war it will ever fight. Outside, beyond the reach of the Council's defenses, the Ghost Fleet gathered in silence, waiting for the signal. Humanity's shadow had returned, and the galaxy could already feel its fear. The galaxy held its breath. Every empire, every fleet, every outpost waited for the humans to strike. Yet nothing happened. Days turned into weeks, and still the Ghost Fleet did not move beyond Sol. At first, the Council began to relax. The Archon declared that the humans were bluffing. "They are few," he said before the council, "but they only wish to frighten us. We are the living rulers of this galaxy. They are the shadows of a forgotten past." But the shadows began to move. In the Kelran sector, entire weapon platforms went offline without reason. Defense systems froze. No power, no explosions, just silence. The engineers tried to restart them, but the control cores were wiped clean. Every monitor showed the same glowing words, "Stand down." At first the council thought it was sabotage by rebels. Then it spread. Whole fleets stopped responding to commands. Communication relays across multiple systems failed. Thousands of ships went dark. Panic returned. Admiral Shurak of the Orion Dominion sent his fleet to secure the affected zones. His ships approached the dark sectors, scanning for signs of attack. But there was nothing to see, no enemy, no fire, no trace. The stars were calm. Then, one by one, his ships went silent. Their last transmission showed a faint blue glow sweeping across space like a wave of light. The Admiral's face was calm before the feed ended. "It's not an attack," he said. "It's a command." The Council called another emergency session. "This is war," Archon Raltun shouted. "They disable our weapons, our ships, our defenses. They control the void itself." The Zethran envoy's voice buzzed softly. "It is not war, Archon. It is restraint. They are shutting down violence." The Archon slammed the table. "Restraint? They destroy everything we have." "No," said Lord Vekar of Orion. "They destroy only what threatens them. They do not fire. They do not invade. They silence." Every leader turned toward him. Vekar continued, "They are forcing peace. Humanity always sought control. Now they have found a way to make it absolute." Far from the council chambers, in deep space, the HSS Resolute led a fleet of thousands through the dark. The ships glided without sound. Their hulls shimmered with faint blue light. Inside the command deck, Guardian 1 reported 212 systems neutralized. Hostile fleets inactive. Civilian worlds untouched. The calm human voice replied, "Continue. No deaths unless required." "Understood." Across the stars, one system after another went dark. Military networks died quietly. Power grids were reset. War engines turned cold. But civilian life continued untouched. Ships still flew. Markets still traded. Worlds still spun. Only the weapons of war vanished. The galaxy began calling it the War of Silence. The Council watched helplessly as their power disappeared. They could not strike back because their own weapons would not obey. Entire armadas drifted powerless in space, unable to even move. Then came the final warning. Every council system received a transmission at the same moment. The voice was human, clear, calm, and cold. "You were given centuries to learn peace. You used them to build war. Humanity does not conquer. Humanity corrects." The transmission ended, leaving behind a symbol on every screen, a broken chain surrounded by a ring of light. The Archon's eyes burned with anger. "They speak of peace while they enslave us." But Lord Vekar whispered, "No, Archon. They teach us what we forgot." In the shadows of deep space, some fleets still tried to resist. Rogue captains fired whatever weapons they had left. None of their attacks reached their targets. The energy simply vanished, absorbed by invisible shields. And every time they fired, a soft voice replied over the radio, "Stop!" Those who ignored the warning disappeared. No wrecks, no flames, just gone. The Council soon realized they could not win this war. Their enemies were not fighting for control. They were dismantling the very concept of war itself. For the first time in history, the galaxy grew quiet. On the bridge of the HSS Resolute, Guardian 1 announced, "Major resistance neutralized. System secure. Awaiting final command." The human voice responded softly, "Hold position. Phase 2 begins when the Admiral wakes." Guardian 1's sensors turned toward the inner Sol system, where an ancient station orbited a dark, lifeless Earth. Inside, a single chamber glowed faintly. A cryopod hummed as old machinery came to life. Within the pod, a human woman slept, her uniform marked with gold and silver. Her rank clear, Admiral Sarah Voss. Her heartbeat began to rise. In silence, The galaxy waited for her eyes to open. The stars above the Milky Way seemed to tremble. For the first time in centuries, the humans were not hiding. They were speaking to the galaxy again. From deep within Seoul, a new signal spread through space. It was not a threat or a demand, it was an invitation. The message was clear, broadcast on every known frequency. To those who remember the fire, come and see. The Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. The Archon slammed his hands on the table, his voice filled with fury. This is their declaration of war. We must destroy them before they spread their influence. But Lord Vekar of Orion shook his head. No, they want us to come to them. If we attack, we walk into their trap. Still, fear won over reason. The Council mobilized half of its combined fleet, 5,000 ships, the greatest armada ever assembled. The plan was simple: enter Seoul, crush the human fleet, and erase the myth once and for all. But far from the Council, in the shadows of space, others began to listen to the human message. On mining worlds, on border colonies, and among the forgotten people living under Council rule. The name human began to spread like a spark through dry grass. Many of them were not humans themselves, but they remembered what the humans had done. They remembered freedom, defiance, and courage. They remembered a species that refused to kneel. Some whispered, maybe they are not our enemies. Meanwhile, inside the HSS Resolute, the command center pulsed with energy. Guardian 1 monitored the incoming transmissions as the human fleet prepared. The Council is gathering, it reported. The same soft human voice answered, let them. The galaxy must witness what it forgot. On the main screen, images of the approaching fleets filled the view. Rows of alien battleships advanced like a wall of steel and light. Behind them trailed thousands of smaller vessels, all carrying enough firepower to destroy entire planets. But the humans did not flinch. Every ship in the Ghost Fleet came alive, glowing with pale blue energy. Ancient systems that had slept for 100 years roared back to life. Planetary defense grids reactivated around Mars, Titan, and Luna. Even the broken remains of Earth's orbiting stations lit up once more, forming a massive defensive ring. In the command deck, the human voice spoke again. Guardian 1, open the gates. A deep vibration spread through the system. Across space, hidden slipstream tunnels opened, like glowing scars in the void. From them emerged more human ships, older, damaged, but still operational. Each one carried the same mark, the broken chain. The fleet had multiplied tenfold. The Archon's fleet reached the edge of Seoul and stopped. Sensors read impossible energy levels from the human side. Some captains wanted to retreat. Others demanded to fight. Then the humans made their move. A single ship, the HSS Resolute, moved forward alone. It opened a channel. Across every enemy ship a voice was heard. Calm, firm, and unmistakably human, you came to challenge us. You wanted to see if humanity still breathes. Look now and remember why your ancestors feared our name. Before the Archon could respond, space itself shifted. The human fleet activated a massive energy field, stretching across millions of kilometers. Every alien system went blind. Their weapons failed. Their engines shut down. The aliens were trapped, unable to move or fight, and yet the humans did not fire a single shot. Guardian 1 spoke to the human commander. They are neutralized. Shall we proceed? The commander paused, then said, no, let them live. Let them tell the truth. Slowly, the energy field faded. The alien ships regained power. But where they expected destruction, they found mercy. The Archon stared at his screen in disbelief. They spared us? Lord Vekar answered quietly. They are reminding us who they are. Across the galaxy, the story spread faster than light. The humans had faced the greatest armada in history and ended the battle without blood. Their message was clear. Humanity had returned, not for conquest, but for justice, and in every corner of the stars, billions began to ask themselves the same question. If this is what humans can do when they choose peace, what happens if they choose war? The Milky Way had changed overnight. Every world, every race, every soldier who saw what happened in Seoul spoke of one truth: the humans were untouchable. They had faced the greatest fleet ever assembled and shown mercy instead of wrath, but peace did not follow. Fear spread through the council faster than light. The Archon demanded another attack, but no one would obey. His allies had seen too much. They knew now that war with humanity meant extinction. Still, the Archon refused to yield. He gathered his most loyal commanders in secret. "They will rise again," he said. "If we do not crush them now, they will control us all. We must finish this, no matter the cost." And so began the plan called Final Dawn. Hidden fleets moved towards Seoul once more. Smaller, faster, made of experimental ships that could bend light itself. They were designed to strike in silence, to kill without warning. But as they entered human space, something went wrong. The ships vanished. Not destroyed, erased. No signal, no trace, not even debris. It was as if the void itself swallowed them. The Archon's rage turned to dread. He demanded answers, but none came. Only one message appeared on his central command screen, written in human script. "You were warned." On Earth's surface, among the ruins of the old cities, the humans gathered once again. The commander of the HSS Resolute stood beneath a rising sun. Around them, millions of human voices sang an ancient anthem, their voices echoing across the sky. For the first time in generations, Earth lived again. Towers rose, energy grids lit up, and the planet breathed. Humanity had returned to its home. Guardian 1 hovered beside the commander. "The Council will not stop." "You know this." "I know," the commander replied. "But now the galaxy knows what happens when you challenge us. That is enough, yet the humans did not seek isolation. They began sending envoys to other worlds, messengers of peace and strength. Some aliens listened. Some even joined them. The name Terran Alliance began to appear in the outer colonies, a union of those who refused to live in fear. But deep within the void, something stirred. Old beacons, forgotten before the fall of man, began to activate. Massive structures hidden beyond the galactic rim powered up for the first time in millennia. Guardian 1 detected them and spoke quietly. "They are awakening. The sleepers." The commander looked at the display. Dozens of energy readings blinked in the darkness, unknown and ancient. "The humans did not build those," the commander said. "Someone else did." And then came another signal, faint but clear, repeating across the galaxy. "We have seen your fire, humanity. We remember you." Every council world that once feared humans now trembled for a new reason. Something older and far greater had taken notice. In the endless dark between galaxies, vast silhouettes moved, machines of impossible size, older than any known civilization. The humans stood ready, watching the stars shift. The commander spoke softly. "Then it begins again." The camera of history turned away from war and fear to something greater, an awakening that would test every race, every world and every belief, because this time the challenge was not just against humanity, it was against everything that came before them.